Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Bringing you the news from Sri Lanka and across the world, it's your national news broadcast on Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Siobhan Pereira.
And I'm Dilanjali Anand, and these are your top stories. Donald Trump is the new president of the USA. President of Sri Lanka congratulates the new US president. A sum of 1,100 million rupees is annually spent to maintain the security offices of the former presidents. 7,700 persons have booked dates online to get passports under the new system. Tomorrow and day after are located to mark postal votes. Sri Lanka squad named for the tournament against New Zealand. Now for those who know the stories in detail. The Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has won the United States election and will make a historic return to the White House.
Now, the Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris is yet to concede or address supporters.
Donald Trump was declared as the America's 47th president. After a hard-fought campaign, the Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump earlier declared victory over Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris. 4 years after leaving Washington following his attempt to the 2020 election to stay in office, Trump's victory defied 2 assassination attempts, 2 presidential impeachments, his criminal conviction, and many other criminal charges. As the Republican presidential candidate, Donald Trump vowed to heal the nation, to fix its border, and to deliver a strong and prosperous economy after millions of his voters turned to him. Claiming victory at a rally in Florida today morning, the newly elected president declared the supporters that he would usher in a new golden age and restore America to greatness.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends in this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Furthermore, the newly elected Vice President J.D. Vance thanked Donald Trump for placing his trust in him.
Thank you for the trust that you placed in me. And I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America. And under President Trump's leadership, we're never going to stop fighting for you, for your dreams, for the future of your children. And after the greatest political comeback in American history, we're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
President Andrew Kumar Dissanayake has congratulated the new US President Donald Trump. He has posted a message in his official X account in this regard. The felicitation message states that the president has offered his heartfelt congratulations to President Donald Trump, who was elected as the 47th executive president of the USA. The Sri Lankan president has also stated that Sri Lanka is ready to continue its endeavors to fulfill common interests of both countries for the well-being of the people.
2 assassination attempts later, the 45th President of the United States returns as the 47th President of the United States in what can be dubbed as a record-breaking election campaign and a victory for President-elect Donald Trump. Now, to talk about it, we have one of our most senior gentlemen, Mr. Prasad Dodangodege, who will do a formal analysis of the situation. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Well, what we want to ask is, the run-up to the presidential election was topsy-turvy. There were so many things going on, litigation going on, assassination attempts. But how do you see this electoral collage panning out for President-elect Trump?
Yes, I can term it as a remarkable comeback. You know, it's a dramatic comeback. It was a very tight race. Even yesterday during our news we explained why this race was so tight, and all the opinion polls suggested that it was too close to call. So during that time nobody expect that Donald Trump will gain such a victory, because at that time even some opinion polls suggested Kamala Harris was slightly ahead of Donald Trump. Actually, she was ahead of Donald Trump in those opinion polls 2-3 weeks back, but the margin, the gap became more and more closer, and later, according to some opinion polls, Kamala Harris was still slightly leading Donald Trump, according to those polls, even yesterday morning, even on the election day. But the result, this map mentioned another story, says another story, totally different picture. Because yesterday even we discussed about the power of the swing states. So with the Donald Trump's victory, once again it has proven that swing states can rule US elections. Although these blue belt and the red belt areas, they are there. However, the final decision can be made by the people of these swing states. So, what are the main plus point for Donald Trump? First, he easily won 2 battleground states, Georgia and North Carolina from the Sun Belt. And again, he got Pennsylvania as well from the Rust Belt, and he was leading in Wisconsin and Michigan as well. So altogether he bagged 3 Rust Belt swing states, although Michigan and Wisconsin still they have to declare it, the final results, but still according to all suggestions Donald Trump is still leading. Then let's go back to this Sun Belt, the lower states, swing states, Nevada and Arizona. These 2 states are also lean towards Donald Trump. That means all 7 battleground states were claimed by Donald Trump, according to the way of that the counting still goes on these states, but we can imagine that Donald Trump has got his advantage through these through his excellent performance in these battleground states. So now I saw in one comment in one US news website that Trump was able to nail the coffin of the Democrats by grabbing this Pennsylvania state. So that's the picture, that's the story. So because of these the behavior of the battleground states, Donald Trump claimed this remarkable victory. I don't know that Kamala Harris still we are waiting for her final statement, We don't know whether she's going to challenge this result or not. However, it's very clear that Donald Trump has passed the winning mark. Up to now, he got 276 votes. That means well ahead of the 270 mark of Electoral College votes. And this whole elections now it's all over, and Donald Trump is we can very easily mention that Donald Trump is the clear winner of these elections.
What do you think was the catalyst in this changing? I mean, this is I think only the second time a defeated former president has re-emerged and made a victory again. Was it the fact that President Biden gave up earlier on in the campaign? Was it Kamala Harris's inexperience? What do you think the voters noticed to swing this vote towards Donald Trump?
Yes, you are correct, Shravan. Now it's after 120 years lapse, because such a thing happened 120 years ago. Now Donald Trump got the advantage due to the now if we go back to the political situation in the United States prior to the elections, we could clearly see the US voters, they were not very happy about the economic performance of Joe Biden's rule, and his approval ratings were not in a very good position. At the same time, Donald Trump was campaigning very, I mean, we can say very successfully, because he highlighted the importance of maintaining good economic performance. That was a key factor for the victory of Donald Trump, the economy and other benefits towards Americans. But Joe Biden's his agenda was more global. He spent a lot of taxpayers' money for this Ukraine war and other global matters. However, even we saw Donald Trump's previous rule, he focused more on US matters. His theme was America Great Again, and this time also his main focus and his main theme is America Great Again. So and he's now he questioned about these immigration issues and the policies by the Biden rule, and all these things. It's a combination, it's a cocktail of issues that faced by the Biden rule. So now the advent of Kamala Harris, it changed the whole scenario, because if we now when Biden and Donald Trump were contesting, Biden was far behind Donald Trump. He was lagging far behind according to opinion polls. But what happened after Biden withdrew from the race due to the pressure from Democrats? Everything happened after the first debate last July, first debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Then after that, Democrats, they organized and they pressure Joe Biden to withdraw from the race, and then they brought Kamala Harris in. That move was strengthened the Democratic camp, and they were flocked around. They already flocked around Kamala Harris, and it was a tough challenge. It was the Kamala Harris, although she campaigned just for 3-4 months, her challenge was considerably tough for Donald Trump. That's why Donald Trump, when Kamala Harris came into the election campaign, Donald Trump clearly mentioned we have to start everything from the beginning. So they did that. However, it was a very formidable challenge, because we saw the second debate between Trump and Kamala Harris. That was not like the first debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Totally different. However, the factors we mentioned, economy and all other factors, and because Kamala Harris cannot escape from the lapses of the Joe Biden rule, because she was the she is the vice president of Joe Biden. So that legacy was there, and that was a great disadvantage for her.
One final quick comment on this. The House of Representatives and the Senate are both with the Republicans, giving Donald Trump a fair majority. What does this spell for the United States from now on?
Yes, that's not very common, because in most elections, if president comes from one party, the Senate and Congress, either both or either one goes for the other party. But this time, Donald Trump got a very strong mandate. He won the presidency, and he got the power in the Senate as well as the House of Representatives. I think according to the House of Representatives races, they are gaining.
Yes.
So it's a remarkable victory for Donald Trump, and it will be really easy for him. It will be a great advantage for his second term.
Mr. Prasad Dodangorige, thank you very much for your analysis.
The government says that a sum of 1,100 million rupees is spent annually to maintain security officials of the former presidents. At the cabinet press briefing, the cabinet spokesman, Minister Vijay Herath, made these comments. And until we bring more news on this, the United States Embassy in Columbo this morning opened a special election center to observe US election results. The center was initiated under the patronage of the United States Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung.
In just a moment, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Stephen. I also want to make one prop over here for those who are interested. Yes, voting, that's my thing. Greater.
To all our guests, colleagues, and friends, we are gathered here to witness a hallmark of our democracy, the 2024 United States presidential elections and a number of congressional races as well. Now, even at this early hour, it's inspiring to see so many of you here to share in this experience and learn more about our electoral process. I heard there were people lined up even at 6:45 a.m. this morning. So I want to give a big thank you, first of all, to our team at the U.S. Embassy who've been working so tirelessly to create this opportunity for all of us to connect over the principles that define our democracy. Today marks a significant moment in U.S. democracy. Seeing all of you here so early in the day is a reminder that the U.S. presidential election is closely followed not just by Americans, but by people all around the world. I've been impressed with how many Sri Lankans I meet every day who are interested and aware of what's going on in the U.S. presidential elections. Our interconnected world means that choices and policies made at home in the U.S. can also have a broad impact globally. Our U.S. democracy is not a static institution. It is alive and requires constant care and upkeep.
The government says that a sum of 1,100 million rupees is spent annually to maintain security officials of the former presidents. At a cabinet press briefing, cabinet spokesman Minister Vijay Herath made these comments, expressing his views regarding the statements made by former presidents that their security has been slashed. Cabinet spokesman Mr. Vijay Herath said that former President Chandrika Bandaranaike had said that her security has been slashed. He said that government has not reduced her security. The minister said that she had expressed false information. She has only 30 security officials. However, the government has already given her 57 security officers. This is a very serious matter for the former presidents. A large number of security personnel have been provided. Some have over 180 officials each. Defense vehicles, buses, defenders, three-wheelers, bicycles and ambulances have also been provided to all of them. This has cost an expenditure of about 1,100 million rupees. This amount is larger than the allocation set aside for the medicine provided to the police hospital, and that is an utter waste of money and should be changed. Minister further said that the government does not curb the media. However, he requested the media institutions to carry out their media missions in a responsible manner. Cabinet spokesman Minister Vijay Tahira said that it is a responsibility of the media institutions and journalists to publish news in line with the media ethics. The journalists who post news items through digital media also have such a responsibility. The government had very clearly said that it had not printed money. However, a person has posted fake news with a currency note with the president's photo and signature. This is utterly wrong, and legal action should be taken against the culprits, and thereby he has already been taken into custody. No one has a right to spread false information to gain political mileage. The minister also expressed views regarding the handing over of private firearms. Cabinet spokesman Minister Vijay Tahira said that a news item was reported that a secretary of the former parliamentarian shot himself to death. The weapon is a licensed weapon issued by the government in January this year.
Now, more local news. 20 billion rupees has been allocated for the rehabilitation of essential roads in the year 2024, and 1,000 kilometers has been identified for the rehabilitation thereunder. The program for rehabilitation of 100,000 kilometers has commenced in the year 2020 with a project period of 5 years, and at present, since the required provisions have not been received from the year 2023, there is an outstanding balance of 28.37 billion under this program. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal presented by the Minister of Transport to manage the provisions allocated to the ministry for the year 2024. However, that has not been used so far in order to settle the outstanding bills that should be settled under these two programs. The People's Republic of China has agreed to provide the entire amount of school uniform fabric for the year 2025 as a grant. Subsequent to examining the sample sent by the Ministry of Education in relation to the stock of fabric by the Sri Lanka Textile and Apparel Institute, it has been recommended that this fabric is suitable for the usage of students. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval presented by the Prime Minister in her capacity as the Minister of Education to accept the grant of the Chinese government to supply school uniform fabric to distribute the fabric among the school and Sunday school students for 2025. It has been decided at the Cabinet meeting held on 17th April 2023 that the Golface ground, which is under the management and administration of the Sri Lanka Ports Management and Consultation Services Private Limited, is not to be granted permission for another purpose other than for religious purposes. It has to incur a monthly cost of approximately 2.5 to 3 million rupees for the administration and maintenance of the Golface Green ground, and it has been seen that the Golface ground is to be used as an attractive and secure place for foreign and local tourists to traverse freely, as well as a place where people can allow to participate in festivals, musical shows and celebrations subject to the approval criteria as existed prior to the year 2023. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers has granted the approval presented by the Minister of Transport, Highways and Ports and Civil Aviation to take necessary steps to make the administration of Golface ground more systematically and transparently under the basis of the concept Clean and Greenery Golface ground. It has been decided to construct 1,996 housing units for low-income persons under the China government aid program and implement it under 3 packages. Stage 1, to award the contract for construction of 575 housing units at Moratuwa and 108 housing units at Kottava. Stage 2, to award the contract for the construction of 586 housing units at Dematagoda and 112 housing units at Maharagama, and Stage 3 to award the contract for the construction of 615 housing units at Paliagoda.
7,700 applicants have booked dates online to get passports so far. Minister Vijay Tahira said that the system is underway since last midnight. Mr. Vijay Tahira said that online passport system has commenced since last midnight. A large number of applicants have applied under both the emergency category and the normal basis during the past few hours. Today there is no long queue at the passport office. The department will provide passports systematically to the applicants who have received tokens through the online system. The new applicants are able to allocate a time online from today, and thereby the government has solved the problem at present.
News from the elections. The Election Commission informs that the persons who were unable to mark their postal votes so far will be able to mark the postal votes tomorrow and the day after. Now, a meeting to enlighten the district returning officers on the upcoming general election was held today at the Commission under the patronage of Election Commissioner General Saman Sri Ratnayaka. Election Commissioner General Saman Sri Ratnayaka said that the officials who failed to mark their votes during the past days will be able to mark the votes tomorrow and the day after at the returning officer's office in the relevant district or the divisional secretariat. He said that the relevant officers can meet the returning officer and get the opportunity to cast their vote. He added that 17.14 million and 354 voters have qualified for the voting at this general election. He said that accordingly voting will be held at 13,314 polling centres island-wide. He said that there will be 2,024 counting centres for this election. He said that the required officials, vehicles and other equipment has already been finalised and sent to the relevant districts.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya recently met with key figures from the International Cricket Council Anti-Corruption Unit at the Prime Minister's office today. The meeting held between newly appointed independent chair of the International Cricket Council Anti-Corruption Unit President's Council, Sumati Dharmawardhana, and General Manager of Integrity and Human Resources of the International Cricket Council, Alex Marshall. During the discussion, Alex Marshall noted Sri Lanka's progress in combating corruption in cricket over the past 7 years, emphasizing the importance of player education and strengthening the Ministry of Sports special investigations. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya held a discussion with senior officials of the Ministry of Justice and its affiliated institutions yesterday afternoon at the Ministry. The meeting focused on enhancing the efficiency and capacity of the Inspector General's Department in providing inspection reports and addressed key operational aspects of the Attorney General's Department.
Now, an aircraft belonging to Azur Airways in Russia landed in the Katunayake airport for the first time this morning. It has brought a group of Russian tourists to Sri Lanka. It has arrived from Venikok city with 332 passengers and 10 crew members. Local manager of Azur Airways, Maurice De Silva, says that Azur Airways maintains flights to Sri Lanka from 5 major cities of Russia weekly. The passenger service is underway from today to the 30th of April next year. A program has been organized by the Tourism Promotion Bureau at the airport to welcome the first group of Russian tourists.
Thank you so much for such warm welcome as a Russian tourist in Sri Lanka. To be honest, I'm in love with Sri Lanka. I love this island. Thank you so much.
Columbo High Court today sentenced 4 former custom officers with 35 years of rigorous imprisonment for each officer. They were proven guilty for the charge of taking a bribe of 125 million rupees. They had taken this bribe to release motor spare parts imported for the Sri Lanka Transport Board in 2015. This bribe has been taken from a businessman of Panchikavatta area. The suspects were proven guilty of the charge that they have misused the legal authority vested with them. In addition, Colombo High Court Judge Namal Balala ordered a fine of 125 million rupees to be charged from each respondent. Consultant gynecologist of Kurunagala Teaching Hospital, Dr. Mohammed Shafi, who has been charged with committing desterilizing surgeries, has been acquitted from all charges by the Kurunagala Magistrates Court. This case was summoned before Kurunagala Magistrate Bandula Gunaratna today. The court's ordered to dismiss the case since there are no ample evidence to prove the case. The magistrates also removed the foreign travel ban imposed on Dr. Shafi. Consultant gynecologist of Kurunagala Teaching Hospital, Dr. Mohammed Shafi, said that he expects that this case achieve justice for all in Sri Lanka. That the officials who acted against him will also be brought to book to meet the justice.
2 persons were killed when the double cab they were travelling in was washed away by a sudden splash of floods at travelling across the Aswatoya River in Manakada in Avisavilla last evening. Two other passengers of the vehicle have saved their lives. The victims have been identified as residents of Kiribadgura and Monoragala areas. It has been reported that heavy rains were pouring in the area at the time of the accident. The vehicle has been washed away for about 100 meters along the river. The Met Department says that there will be heavy rains over 50 millimeters to some areas in the island. Showers or thunder showers may occur in several places in the central, Sabaragamu, Uwa, southern and western provinces at night. Rains will also occur in the northern and northwestern provinces as well. The sea area along the coastal belt stretching from Columbo, Gaul and Hambantota to Portuville will also have intermittent rains. The Met Department says that showers will accompany heavy winds in the sea areas. Yatalavatta junction along the Mapalagama road was inundated due to heavy rains experienced in the area yesterday. It has been reported that the Udalamatta junction along the Baddegama-Udugama road was also underwater. Meanwhile, the National Building Researchers Organization says that the landslide warning issued for several districts will be further effective. Director of the National Building Research Organization, Dr. Gam Nijayatissa, said that landslide warnings have been issued to several districts at present. He said that minor incidences of falling earth mounds and destabilizing steep slopes have also been reported at present. He added that if rains continue, this may develop to the level of landslides. He said that therefore the public living in the mountain slopes of the area are requested to be vigilant over the pre-landslide signs in their respective areas.
Cabinet spokesman Minister Vijitha Herat says that it has been decided to call back all individuals who do not belong to Sri Lanka Foreign Service to the island before the 1st of December. He revealed this fact at the press briefing held in Columbo today to inform the cabinet decisions. Minister Vijitha Herat said that political appointments are not relevant to each individual. Some individuals of the Foreign Service are former officers of armed forces. Such individuals and some persons with political influence have also been directly appointed. Sons, daughters and wives of former parliamentarians and ministers have been appointed instead of qualified persons for diplomatic service. The government has decided to call back 15 officers who are not included in the Sri Lanka Foreign Service with the aim of maintaining a reputed foreign service. Accordingly, brother-in-law of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, Dr. Lalit V. Chandradasa, has been called back. Dr. D. Venkateswaran and former Vietmaga activist N. Andra Fernando have also been called back. A close friend of former Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe, Nishan Manik Muthukrishnan, is also in the relevant list. A relation of former Governor Alavi Maulana SM Fala Al-Habshi Maulana was called back to the island from Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. Taraka D. Dissanayake, son of former Minister S.B. Dissanayake, is also in the unqualified list. A son of former Minister Susant Punch Nilame, Senior PHP Galgamua, is also in the list. Close friend of former Minister Vajrabevardhana IP Dizoisa was called back from Moscow. Yasmin Hilmi Mohammed, a daughter of former mayor of Mathale Hilmi Mohammed, is also among the called back list. Ashwini Hapangama was brought back to Sri Lanka from Hague in the Netherlands. She has been identified as a staff member of former Minister Ali Sabri's legal office. DC Fernando Pule's wife of former Minister Arundika Fernando was also called back from Canberra in Australia. Dr. Anwar M. Hamdani is another member of the relevant list. He is considered as a close friend of former Minister Ali Sabri. Janaka Ranatunga was at Stockholm in West Sweden. He has also served at the former Minister Ali Sabri's legal office. KWSES Bandara, a son of former Minister Shanta Bandara, was informed to come back from Paris. Daughter-in-law of former Minister Cecil Prem Chand, Melki Chandima Pereira, is also in the called back list. In addition, close friend of former Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, Priyankika Dissanayake, has also been informed to come back from Beirut. Sri Lanka Foreign Service was initiated in the 1st of October 1949. It was globally accepted as a reputed foreign service. Many individuals of the Sri Lanka Foreign Service have been honoured as top-level diplomats. Therefore, the government has decided to call back the unqualified persons back to the island to regain the reputation.
Now, a special Gazette notification has been issued for the second time for the protection of the pork manufacturing industry. Now, a media briefing in this connection was held in Columbo yesterday by the Department of Animal Production and Health. The new Gazette notification has eased the restrictions mentioned in the earlier Gazette issued on the 25th of last month. The new Gazette notification is effective from the 4th of this month. Death of pigs were reported from many swine farms in several areas, including Anuradhapura recently. Investigations conducted in this regard have revealed that the cause of death of pigs are African swine fever and porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome. 50% of animals died in swine farms in the Western Province alone. Director General of the Department of Animal Production and Health, Dr. Hemali Kothalavala, says that, however, there is a slight decrease of the spread of the disease at present. Director General of the Department of Animal Production and Health, Dr. Hemali Kothalavala, said that under the first Gazette notification, transport of animals was banned. She said that, however, the new Gazette has allowed the transport of uninfected animals under the permission of the veterinary unit of the Department of Animal Production and Health. She added that such animals should be slaughtered at a slaughterhouse registered under the department. She further said that the disease can also be spread through the waste disposed from the slaughterhouses. She said that therefore disposal of animal waste should be done under the permission of an authorized official of the department. She said that the cool rooms in the store that store pork and allied products should also be registered. She said that since the pork sausages and other allied items are subject to high temperature, in processing the items manufactured before the 25th of last month can also be sold according to the new Gazette.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amrasuriya says that under the new educational reforms, competitive examinations will not be conducted up to the grade 8 in government schools. She made these remarks participating in a meeting with the preschool teachers in the Kandy district. The meeting was held at the Kandy Postal Department Auditorium today. Preschool teachers and a group of NPP candidates who contest the general election were present at this meeting. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amrasuriya said that the government proposes that all teachers should be graduates. Teachers should compulsorily receive an in-service training. In addition, there cannot be separate curriculums at provincial and zonal levels. There should be a national level curriculum for the pre-childhood education as well. Children between 3 to 5 years should not compulsorily study reading, writing and arithmetic. Children should not be prepared for competitive examinations at the early age. Therefore, competitive examinations will not be held until grade 8. The new system will not be implemented in a flash from tomorrow, but will take some time to draw a proper system.
Now, leader of the Samagi Jana Balavege, Sajid Premadasa, says that he will sign a new agreement with the IMF to grant relief to the general public after securing a majority of the power in the parliament at the upcoming general election. He made these remarks addressing a public rally held at Obesekarapura in Kotte. A large number of party representatives and party supporters were present at this rally. Leader of the Samagi Jana Balavege, Sajid Premadasa, said that the IMF representatives have also had talks with the SJB members. He said that the SJB had directly told the IMF representatives that this deal is not fair and a burden to the general public. He said that therefore the SJB will secure the power in the parliament at the general election and change the IMF deal definitely to provide relief to the public. The former president and the government had caused immense difficulties to the public by signing a crash agreement with the IMF.
National organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Nama Rajapaksa says that the alliance led by Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna will be made the decisive political factor of the country within the next decade. He made these remarks addressing a public rally held at Ruan Valley area yesterday. National organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Nama Rajapaksa says that this government also attempted to discredit the politicians of the SLPP government in the same manner the good governance regime had done. The government had asked us not to complain. The SLPP members are not scared of fake legal actions. However, we respect the judiciary. We asked the police officers to conduct their investigations in independent manner without favouring the present government. If they do so, they will have to face the repercussions under a future rule established by the SLPP.
Now, the Thailand delegation that seeks sustainable solutions for the human-elephant conflict in Sri Lanka met Minister Vijitha Herath yesterday at the Ministry of Environment. They held lengthy discussions regarding the problems faced by both elephants and the human community. Over 400 elephants are killed annually due to this conflict. Moreover, 300 humans also lose their lives annually. Minister Vijitha Herath stressed the need to implement a sustainable system to prevent this conflict and to save the lives and properties. The Thailand delegation said that they will conduct an extensive study to find solutions for this conflict. They added that they are experiencing the same situation in Thailand and taking many strategic methods to prevent the human-elephant conflict. 15 members are included in this team.
Now, the Sri Lanka squad for the T20 and ODI cricket tournaments against visiting New Zealand was announced today by the Sri Lanka Cricket.
17 players have been included in the ODI squad with the captaincy of Charit Asalanka. Now, Avishka Fernando, Pathum Nissanka, Kusal Janit Pereira, Kusal Mendis, Kamidu Mendis, Janit Lianage and Sadira Samaravikrama are in the squad. Other players, Nishan Madhushanka, Dunit Vellalage, Vanidu Hasaranga, Mahesh Deekshana, Jeffrey Van der Say, Shamidu Wickramasinghe, Asita Fernando, Dilshan Madhushanka and Mohammad Shiraz. The first T20 match will commence on the 13th of this month at Dambulla International Cricket Stadium. Second and third matches will be played in Pallekele International Cricket Stadium on the 17th and 19th respectively. 17 players have been included in the T20 squad with the captaincy of Charit Asalanka, Pathum Nissanka, Kusal Mendis, Kusal Janit Pereira, Kamidu Mendis, Dinesh Chandimal, Avishka Fernando, Bhanuka Rajapaksa and Vanidu Hasaranga are in the squad. Other players are Mahesh Deekshan and Dunit Vellalage, Jeffrey Van der Say, Chamidu Wickramasinghe, Nuwan Tusharam, Matisha Patirana, Binuru Fernando and Asita Fernando. The T20 series will be played on the 9th and 10th in Dambulla International Cricket Stadium. Well, that was a look at your news here at Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I am Siobhan Pereira together with Dulanjali Ananda. Wish you a pleasant evening.